31 days later and 31 drawings later, we have finished Inktober, and I'm exhausted. So let's talk about coming up with a different drawing based off of the Inktober prompt list every day for the month of October. First, I do want to talk about the stuff I used to draw them. Before recording, I would sketch them into the notebook first, and I use this pencil here for that. This is a Graph Gear 1000 from Pentel. I put some vinyl on the pencil itself right here just to say what color it is. And I did do all of my sketches in blue pencil, like the good little animator boy I am. Don't put that part in. The pens that I used for this, so these are Tombow pens. I adore these pens. I've used them for years and years. One of them is fine point and the other one is slightly less fine point. They are brush pens, so that just means that the tips kind of resemble a brush to make my strokes thicker or thinner, that kind of stuff. This brush pen, holy, maybe I'll use my giant white forehead so you can see it a little bit better. This one's the one I used to color in lots of bigger areas that needed to be completely colored in. This one's a Pigma Sakura pen. And then the notebook is just a cheap sketch notebook from Amazon that has thick enough paper that it wouldn't really bleed through. So now let's go through each of the drawings and kind of talk about the thought process behind them and all that jazz. All right, so day one was backpack, and honestly, this was my least favorite drawing out of the whole thing, which kind of sucked because it was the start and this was my first one I posted on social media and just TikTok, the reels, all that jazz. So it was just kind of a bummer to start with this one, but that's fine. I just feel like I wasn't very creative with it. The concept was my daily carry. I drew a backpack with items that I do keep with me every day. So I've got my AirPods, my Apple Watch. I have a travel camera with me, so that's the purpose of that. Then obviously SD cards, pens, my laptop, and my phone. Like it wasn't that creative of an idea, but that's where it came from. It's just supposed to be a backpack exploding with the items that I keep with me on a daily basis. And so that was day one for backpack. Day two is, ironically, now one of my favorites. So we went from my least favorite to one of my favorites. This one, the idea is discover. And I don't know, seeing that word, I just pictured a paper airplane flying through space. And discovery, to me, outer space and planets and that kind of stuff is very in that vein of thinking. I did do a lot of stippling on this one just because it felt like it blended the planets into the drawing a lot more, and it wasn't just like stark planets being pure white and then this dark black of space. There are supposed to be like little outlines around the paper airplane itself, and that's what that little like stuff left around that is. So on to boots. This one is pretty simple. As the big Zelda nerd, oh wow, hey, that works. I've got my shirt on. As a big Zelda nerd I am, you hear the word hover and I think of the hover boots, because as a child I was like, these are the coolest things on the planet and I really want hover boots. And then I realized how slippery they were in the game and stopped liking them as much. But regardless, another thing that's fun is drawing them. I never really noticed these like jets on the front of the boots. So when like referencing something like that and drawing them, you just kind of notice stuff like that. So kind of cool. New little extra detail. Then onto exotic. Exotic was a hard one to come up with a concept for, just because in my head I was just thinking of basically exotic flowers, and that didn't seem too exciting to draw. I kept going back to this idea of a genie being exotic. I didn't want to necessarily just draw a genie either, so I combined the two into the magic lamp with flowers coming out of it. Then day 5 is binoculars. This one I really messed up on when inking. So I had my sketch all set up, and you'll be able to see that here. And my compass is a little funky in the sketch just because I'm saying where I want to like shade it and stuff like that. And I totally drew the circle very poorly, and I kind of like went off the circle, and my way of fixing that was drawing a chain and having it go into the part of the circle that I messed up and go across. So that's why that's there and it's not in the sketch, because I messed up and we improvised. This is the first Zelda drawing of the month. This is the word Trek And of course, Link's always going on adventures, and I wanted to draw him holding a map. It kind of started out influenced by Young Link from Ocarina of Time, and then just turned into an amalgamation of a bunch of different Links. And then I put Navi up there. I guess it could be Tail from Majora's Mask since it's black, but that's mostly just for shading differentiation. I really did like how the shading turned out on this one. The shading is so sick. I like that a lot. Passport, another one of my less favorite ones. It's cool. I tried to focus on places I've been to personally for the stamps on the passport, so that was fun. So I drew like Paris, Japan, Vegas just was fun to draw. I have been to Vegas a lot of times, but you know, that's not as exciting as like Barcelona and Tokyo and stuff like that. But it was just fun to draw the little Vegas lights, so that's why that one's there. Hike, had to reference my favorite of the Switch Pokemon games, which is Legends Arceus or Arceus, I don't know, and drew Dawn, or I think that's Dawn. I'm not 100% sure. Looking out over the mountain that I can't think of the name of right now, with a little Hisuian Zorua down there. This was a fun one to draw. I really liked how that one turned out. And on to Sun. This one, I'm hoping everyone understood what the sun was, and it wasn't just a sun with a goofy face on it. The purpose is it's the Mario Brothers 3 sun. Like, it's, you know, the angry sun that chases after you. And then I didn't just want to draw that, so I was trying to think of like a sunset scene, and there's that GIF from the mini game in Mario 64 DS of Yoshi plucking the flowers, and I just thought it was kind of a fun contrast of like the angry sun and the kind of sad melancholy Yoshi looking out over the sunset. On to day 10, one of two Genshin Impact characters. This one is my personal favorite Genshin Impact character, Kaza. So of course I had to draw him for Nomad. I need to get caught back up in my notebook. I love Kazaha's design, and he's fun to run around and double jump and all that stuff. So, and he's a wanderer, which kind of works with nomadic. So that's where he came from. And I gave him a little rice hat because I wanted to put a leaf in the hat. I thought it looked cute. Then for snacks, obviously during October, this game, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, had come out recently. And so I wanted to draw something to kind of go along with that game. And you make smoothies in that game a lot. And I thought that was, you know, that works for snack. A boba tea, a smoothie, that works for snacks. And then I had Zelda like conjure it up like she does her items in the game. So that's where this one came from. It's boba tea. I also just really like boba tea and kind of want a boba tea now. So that's what I will be doing after this. All right, day 12. This is a fun one. For remote, in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to draw a Wii remote. Like, in my head, I had this like image of the Wii remote pointing directly at the viewer. And I thought it would be fun, maybe have like some like IR rays flying out of it. But then I just had, like, at the last minute, I was like, actually, I'm just going to have Pikmin carry the Wii remote. And I'm glad I changed my mind. I think it turned out pretty cute. I just love Pikmin. So being able to draw Pikmin, any excuse is a good excuse to draw Pikmin. Horizon. My first Pokemon game ever was Pokemon Emerald. And so I will always remember the little bike ride at the start of the game, where you've got, like, the Wingull and everything flying behind you. And that's what this is. It's May riding across with, the clouds and the water behind her and a little Wingull up there in the sky. Rome is referencing one of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies, which is Kiki's Delivery Service. So this is Kiki flying on her broom with Gigi up at the front sitting there. This is a good time to kind of talk about when I could get a white gel pen, and that would make drawing white on black so much easier. But since I don't have a white gel pen, cut out when I'm like, swallowing my air. Anyways, since I don't have a white gel pen, in my sketch, I'll just kind of tell me where not to draw, and I'll draw around it and then fill it in that way. So that's how I do that effect. It requires a little bit more planning, but I don't have a white gel pen. So we do what we can, you know? This one's guidebook. This prompt list had a couple book prompts right like back to back, and that was kind of annoying, but I did my best to kind of spice it up a little bit so that they didn't get too boring. For guidebook, I wanted to do kind of like an alchemy thing, like following the ingredient list to making some potions and stuff like that. So that's the idea behind this. We've got some like plants on the book. The book's kind of torn up. We've got the quill writing a note in like a medieval sticky note. We got a big old bottle in the back with a candle on it and some wax dripping down. Yeah, this one's not really from anything in specific. It's just an alchemy book is what I thought of. Grungy, my friends gave me so much crap for this one, and let me tell you, they're just sitting there. There's a foot in this drawing, and there's nothing weird about it, okay? It's just a foot. But the amount of comments I got that I drew a foot. Also, just funny story. So my mother is an elementary school teacher. So every day before they did their Inktober drawing, they would watch the drawing I did for the prompt to kind of inspire them and stuff like that. There was a little bit of drama with this one because the 4th grade class was like, is she smoking? Is she smoking a cigarette? And I didn't think about it. Like it was not going through my head that like a bunch of 4th graders were looking at these drawings. My mom, the 4th grade teacher, was supposed to be like, no, it's just grungy people smoke. It's like what I guess she told them. And so they went to look up some more inspiration for grungy things. And I guess Google image searching grungy, she then found some like people flipping the bird and all this stuff. And anyways, it led down a whole path of 4th graders being like, oh my God. So, but yeah, her gripper is out. The dogs are out. She's just chilling. All right. That's it. Anyways, on to the next one. Journal. Another excuse to draw one of my favorite video game franchises. We've got Kingdom Hearts this time around. This is not the last time you'll be seeing Kingdom Hearts, but I just drew an open notebook, and then wrote Thank Nominee in it, which, you know, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, you probably know what that's from. And then I did the little heart and a heartless coming out of the other side, just to add some more Kingdom Hearts stuff to it to make it a little bit more obvious. But yeah, as you can see, a book one, not too long after our other book one. And so trying to keep those a little different than what they were before. That's another reason why I opened this one a little bit differently than the other one before, just because I didn't want to draw it exactly the same. For Drive, I was just thinking about Mario Kart. I wasn't being that creative that day, I guess. So here's Mario holding a blue shell. After I drew this, I was uploading the design to my merch site, which, as an FYI, you can get all of these as stickers and other types of merch on my site. That'll also be linked down below. If you'd like to support me, that would be awesome. If not, don't worry about it. It's just an option for you down below if you want. But when putting him up on the merch site, it was pointed out to me that Mario throws items with the other hand. So just a detail I never really thought about, but I drew him holding it in the wrong hand. So guess, whoops, pay more attention next time. Ridge, okay. We're back to Pokemon. so many video game drawings. I'm a nerd, what can I say? You know, it's inspiring, I guess. But this is Sharpedo Bluff. So it's technically not a ridge, but we work with it. We work with what we got. And this is from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the Explorers games, Time, Darkness, Sky. Yeah, I actually really like how this one turned out. This one was one that when I was sketching it and I hadn't shaded it yet, I was like, man, this is going to look really stupid. I don't love how this is looking, but I guess I'll keep going because I don't have a lot of time in this challenge to just scrap an entire drawing. So I kept going, and then it ended up turning out really good, and I'm really happy with it. Okay, so here's a Wind Waker drawing. I love the vibes of Wind Waker. Wind Waker's art style is one of my favorites in all of the Zelda games, and so it's fun to draw things from it. So we've got a treasure chart with our little pirate, like, anchor anchor drawing thing, symbol on the treasure chart. The shading, I think I did it a little weird in this one, but I think it's okay. Yeah, it's the Wind Waker and a treasure chart over top of each other for Uncharted. I did think about drawing the ring from the game Uncharted, but that seemed boring. So this would seem more fun. Rhinoceros. So this is Meringue from Animal Crossing in a little bakery. The bakery is somewhat inspired from the Kikis delivery service bakery. That was one I was looking at when coming up with ideas of how to draw her in a bakery. Like, did I want to do it kind of more isometric? Did I just want her behind a bar or something like that? And so that's one of the bakeries I took more inspiration from. I didn't put too much detail into the bakery because I didn't want to take away from Meringue herself. Also didn't have a ton of time, as you know. So I only drew a few items and all that fun stuff. But yeah, Meringue, an awesome Animal Crossing character, one of the more unique ones. She's very cute, so she was fun to draw. Campfire, also known as Camp. This one, I wrote the wrong thing on my notebook. So when I looked down at my notebook, I saw the word Campfire, but then I'm watching the video of me drawing it, and it says Camp, and that is because when I was drawing in my head, it was Campfire, but it was not. It was Camp. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, the prompt, I think what was drawn works for both of them, but anyways. That's why it's a little different. I believe the pen still hadn't died. No, I do think I can't remember where the pen died. We'll figure it out. I do think I remember where the pen died now. Anyways, Over the Garden Wall. This is Over the Garden Wall. I think I was just talking to some friends about Over the Garden Wall at the moment and wanted to come up with an idea to draw Over the Garden Wall, and this was that moment to draw Over the Garden Wall. So did some stippling to kind of add the trees into the background and then just drew them sitting by a campfire. All right, and for Rust, this is another one of my favorites, just because I think this one would make such a sick tattoo. It's also available as a sticker on the site, so on my merch site, link below. But yeah, I think it would be such a cool tattoo, just like going down your calf or like your arm or something like that. Yeah, anyways, it's the Master Sword, broken from Tears of the Kingdom. And it has the Tears of the Kingdom, little green, magic effect lines coming out the bottom of it, extending it below. So that's the concept. And then it has some silent princess flowers twirling around behind it. So there's a few versions of this before I actually finished and sketched it, where I didn't draw the silent princesses and stuff like that. And I thought it added enough to have it worth be putting in. So that's Rust. And then Expedition. I have many friends who love One Piece, and I like the live action. I've seen the live action, so I'm a fake fan, but they love One Piece, and so I drew a One Piece drawing for them, and I forgot the name of the boat, and then they made fun of me for forgetting the name of the boat, which just goes to show that they are great friends. Because they will make fun of me if I call this the Golden Mary instead of the Going Mary. And I hope to God that's the name of the boat. Because if it isn't, they will make fun of me for the rest of my life. Like they do with many other things, including the aforementioned grippers. But yeah, this was a fun one to draw. I mean, I like drawing ships. I used to draw pirate ships all the time as a kid. So it was fun to go back and draw a cool, well-designed pirate ship. Scarecrow is day 25. We're getting to the last week of Inktober, and Scarecrow is Turnip Head from Howl's Moving Castle. So there's few Scarecrows that come to my mind in pop culture, one of them being the Ocarina of Time Scarecrow. I will admit that was the first one that came to my mind, but I've drawn a lot of Zelda related things, and there's still another one coming up. So I didn't want to draw another one, and I do love Howl's Moving Castle. So we had to draw Scarecrow. Man, Turnip Head is his name. And yeah, it was just a fun one. This was a fun shading one to do. It's pretty simple, but just to do different levels of thickness, or darkness, I should say, with the cross hatching was fun. All right, we've got our second and last Genshin Impact drawing. This is Charlotte. This was one that I didn't have any idea what to draw for camera. I just thought of a picto box, or just drawing, I have a bunch of old cameras up on the shelf. You probably can't see them right now. I was like, I can just draw one of them, I guess. I was talking to some friends, and a friend of mine really likes Charlotte in Genshin Impact. So he requested I draw Charlotte in her fun little camera box right there. So I did. And that's why she's here. And she turned out really good too. I really like how this one turned out for shading, especially. Just cross-hatching is not my first thought when it comes to shading anime characters, you know? And so the eyes especially, and just how the clothing and everything turned out with some simple cross-hatching, it was surprising that how it turned out, and I quite like it, I would say. But yeah, that's Charlotte from Genshin Impact. She's cute. She's a fun design to draw with her intricate outfit and fun little camera box with its little hat and the little flowers all over the place. It's cute. I quite like it. The next one is Road, and I'm mad at myself about this one. I do think it turned out pretty okay, but I just did not plan ahead very well and started drawing it with the notebook this way instead of this way like the Pikmin remote, because I was like, surely Castle Oblivion is bigger or taller than it is wide, but since it was Road and it ended up only taking up half of the page, and it was very time consuming to keep everything as like small and detailed as it was. This is one I wish that if I did go back, I would have drawn it landscape just to fill out a bit more. Maybe it wouldn't have even made that big of a difference now that I'm looking at it, but I feel like I drew it a little small and I wish I had drawn it a bit bigger. I might have just needed a bigger page altogether, but anyways, this one was hard for that reason. It turned out pretty cool. Castle Oblivion is kind of annoyingly asymmetrical. That's the word. So there's some sections that just felt a little weird, but I mean, I guess that's the point, you know? But yeah, Castle Oblivion, Kingdom Hearts. Next up is Kirby for Jumbo. This is when my pens died. So Kirby is where those happened. You can see in the video, it kind of zooms by, but I wrote down, I like kind of did some testing on a sticky note at one point because they died. Yep, there it is. Pen died. And so I switched over to new pens, and it was just so much easier at that point because the last, 5 to 8 drawings, I definitely had to go over my lines a few times because my ink was drying up fast. So Kirby, and there's my cute little Kirby toy that I got from Japan. But yeah, so anyways, this is where the pens died, and I had to get out my new set. Next up, Navigator, Outer Wilds. We love Outer Wilds. There's my hold on, there it is. There's my record. I love this game. It's great. And here's Rybeck playing his banjo. He's a navigator, man, navigating through space. Everyone should play Outer Wilds. I'm not going to say anything else because that's, as an Outer Wilds fan, that's the rule. Tell everyone to play it, but don't tell anyone about it because that'll ruin the game. Anyways, he's sitting on a rock and he's playing a banjo. And every time I see this, I just think of the Outer Wilds music and I cry a little bit because I love that soundtrack so much. But yeah, this one was fun. Rybeck is a really neat design, just his outfit and everything. I love how rustic the space outfits are in this game. It's really cool. It was a fun one. Navigator. We're on to the last 2 drawings of Inktober. Day 30 is Violin, and we're back to Wind Waker. So we've got Makar and his buddy that Fado, I think his name's Fado, playing their instruments from Wind Waker. Just the 2 of them hanging out. I don't know if I like how the shading on the shadows underneath them turned out. I think it's fine, I guess, but in the planning stages when I was drawing this on my iPad, I definitely drew those as just solid circles, and so I think that may have looked a little better. Oh well, I still think they turned out pretty good, but yeah, just 2 little fun guys. We got our little Kokiri guy and our little Korok brother playing their instruments for day 30. And as the last one, fittingly named Landmark, we've got the Dodo Airlines airplane from Animal Crossing New Horizons, with a little Animal Crossing balloon back there. The plan was to draw the airport with this, And frankly, I was drawing this on the morning of Halloween, and I was running out of time. So we had not missed a single day, and I did not want this one to go out super late. So we cut the airport and went just to the airplane with the present. But yeah, fitting last word for the last day of Inktober. Landmark, Dodo Airlines right there. All finished. But yeah, that was Inktober 2024. This was the first year I'd ever recorded all of my drawings. I've done Inktober before and taken pictures, but I'd never done time-lapse recordings of all of them before. It was really fun. It was a lot of work, multiple hours every day. But yeah, it was great. As always, finishing Inktober is one of the most satisfying things ever. I'm very happy I did it. 31 drawings, 31 days, 31 recordings, and 31 Instagram and TikTok reels posted. That was the adventure of Inktober. The tools I used to do it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more artsy stuff on my YouTube channel. We post a lot of art tutorials, animation tutorials, and just creative tool tutorials and stuff like that. So be sure to stick around if you like what you see, and bye-bye.